Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tech Informist. This is episode 81, recorded live on Wednesday, June the 17th, 2015. My name is Kevin Harvell. I am your host for today, and I'm joined by a good friend and co-host, Brad Whiteside. Brad, how are you today?
Excellent. We have a lot to talk about, sir. A lot of
Very,
good things.
very true. So much to discuss. E3, we kind of touched on a little bit on our previous episode, episode 80, of some of the things that we saw from the Bethesda event from Sunday. And, playing Fallout and learning about Fallout 4 and getting a chance to try out the Fallout Shelter. I will definitely be talking about that later. So it is very, very good game. Really enjoy it. But there's a lot more.
Bethesda doesn't make terrible games, I'll put it that way.
No. Definitely not. They've got a very solid team over there. So we will definitely be touching on that. So let's go ahead and move into some things. But real quick, if you would like to watch live or catch a future episode live, as many people do. Actually, there's a lot of people in the chat today, and it's been a very lively chat this morning, even before the pre-show, before the show started. We had a lot of great little discussions going on. And let's see. Join us at thetechinformist.com/live. So let's go ahead and move into this discussion with E3. So some of the things that we saw, and I've just got to say, the one thing that stood out the most to me, Star Wars Battlefront. Seeing the Hoth gameplay, the Tatooine, kind of like co-op, just unbelievable graphics. Xbox One, PS4, and PC, available in November. Brad, what were your thoughts of that?
I mean, it's a game I've been waiting for forever. Let's see, the last one launched somewhere in like 2007, 2008 on a PS2, if that gives you any indication how long it's been. So I'm super excited for the new Battlefront, and it will definitely be the one I'm getting this fall. I mean, like you said, the gameplay is just amazing. Like it sucks you in. Like you feel like you're a part of the Star Wars universe, and that's exactly what these games are about.
Yeah. Oh my God. Just seeing that, I'm like, and you can play as both different sides. You can play either as the Empire or the Rebel side, and it looks like it reminds me a lot of Rogue Squadron from Nintendo 64, where you can fly vehicles, or and now they've integrated a complete ground game. I mean, to me, it reminded me a lot of Battlefield 4, and
In a
I
way,
know we kind of touched on that.
yeah, in a way, it kind of does, but they made it very clear that they don't want it to look or necessarily play exactly like one of those games. They don't just want it to be a reskin. They want it to be Battlefront, its own thing. And I think so far they're doing a really good job. There's not like space battles per se, but there's like in-atmosphere battles that you can have with the TIE fighters, X-Wings, Y-Wings, bombers, all those things. So it's going to be a really good game, I think.
Yeah, and to release it a month before the next Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens, comes out, I mean, it's perfect timing. And they also mentioned that people that pre-order, you're going to get access to the some special level. You'll get access to it a week before everybody else does.
Now, what day do they have that slated to release?
I want to say it's the 10th or the 17th. I want to say it's the 10th because the 17th is Fallout 4, right?
The 10th is Fallout 4. That's why I was going to
Fallout 4. Okay, so I think the 17th is actually the Star Wars release.
Which is interesting because, I mean, if I were a publisher for a game of like pretty much any game, even Call of Duty, I would want to stay the hell away from Fallout 4 because these guys are just going to come in and take what is theirs. They are going to
Right.
get all the sales, all the monies. So let's find out. I'm going to check real quick while we maybe talk about something.
Now let's
What
move into a little bit more Microsoft. Let's go ahead because Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo all had their big events. Let's go ahead and start off with Microsoft. Try to break things up a little bit here.
Yeah. What did you see most of the conference, some of the conference? What did you think of what you heard from them so far?
I didn't get a chance to watch or listen to nearly as much as I would have liked, but some of the things that really stood out to me was the fact that Microsoft finally announced, "Hey, Xbox One, you're going to get some backwards compatibility with 360 games."
They literally could have just dropped the mic right there and walked off stage, and there would have been mass applause and everything. But no, they kept going and made even more amazing announcements. By the way, November 17th for Star Wars. So
Okay.
it's gonna be Call of Duty the first week. It's gonna be Fallout 4 the second week, and it's gonna be Star Wars the third week. November is just gonna be insanity.
Yeah. So pre-order, start saving your money because there's
Yeah,
a lot of great games coming out just in November. That's not counting before. That's not counting
right.
after. That's
Which
uh,
speaking of things that Microsoft announced, one of them was Gears of War Remastered, which we kind of knew was coming. It's
right.
only the first game, but news came out yesterday that it will also be for PC, which is a little bit of it's kind of incredible because that's like one of their console, games. Although the first game was out on the PC, so I could kind of see why they would kind of redo that again. That's kind of cool. Um, I'm really excited that that's coming to PC and Xbox One for those PC lovers out there. Um, but let's see, what else was there? Kind of drawing a blank.
Xbox One Elite controller.
Yeah, the Elite
I mean,
controller
hardware
looks
wise, it's like wow.
fantastic. It's $150 though, so it comes with a price.
Yeah, but you get more little buttons,
Yeah, I mean,
oh,
if you are
wow,
just
like a little
you
lever
have
trigger
nothing else better
paddles.
to spend your money on, go get that controller because it looks amazing.
Yeah. It- you
um,
know, looking at some of the images for it, it looks like it would be great for Forza because it's got those little paddles on the bottom where you could probably use like shifters, kind
I
of like
was wondering,
shift up and down and stuff like that.
I was wondering what those are for, if those are buttons or what those are. But yeah, that looks really interesting, and I definitely want to know more about it, even though it's too expensive for me to afford right now.
Yeah.
Um,
So talking about the controller, just real quick, it's got a slew of new features such as hair trigger locks, improved thumbstick sensitivity, and physically it features swappable components and a different D-pad. And let's see, you can also take
yeah,
advantage of paddle remapping along with button remapping.
that
So
like D-pad that they show off, it looks like this like little satellite dish. Like I don't know how else to explain it than like some little satellite dish that like sits
yeah,
where the
it's
D-pad normally would.
it's all like inverted instead of having the four typical direction, up, down, left, right. This is like it's just like
It's like
inverted disc,
dished out, yeah, and
like one of
it's
those
like
little disc sleds.
it's like the surface of a golf ball, but with squares. Is
Yeah,
probably the best way I know how to explain it. But it's really interesting looking, and I'm kind of curious as to why they chose that design. I'm sure there's reasons for it because they don't just make things because. Um,
right.
but Kevin, I hate being right all the time, but I was super right about this. They started out with Halo, Five Guardians, and they ended with Gears of War, and I was super excited and happy for all of that. Um,
So with the Gears of War, did it like blow your mind the way that you were hoping it would?
I was just happy to see footage of the fourth one because we didn't know what they were going to announce or say or anything, but they actually showed off a gameplay demo of the fourth one. It's so far from what I know, it's instead of Gears of War, it's just Gears 4. So that's interesting. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
like a tentative title or if that's just what it's going to be. Um, but so they showed off that, and it was really interesting because they kind of kept the enemy of what you were fighting the whole time like hidden until the very end, which was cool. Because like the locusts, the main enemies, as far as we know, are eradicated from the third game. So interesting stuff there. Halo 5 showed off actually a new game type, which looks really cool. It's kind of like firefight and multiplayer, like big team Slayer rolled into one. So there's like AI that you fight along with the other team. So it looks really fun. It's kind of like a Battlefront-esque type game style. There's a lot of computer play, also with the people you play with, and they showed off a couple of other they didn't just show off stuff that they're really good at, like Forza 6. They showed that off too, but they showed off stuff like Gigantic, which I don't know too much about, but it looks interesting. The one that really caught my eye was Recore. And the reason it really caught my eye is because the team who helped make and create Metroid Prime are working on Recore. So that automatically grabbed my interest. Tomb Raider looks fantastic. I can't wait to play that. Oh, what else is there? They announced on stage that Fallout 4 will be getting mods just like the PC, which is amazing and awesome. Because the consoles are just so locked down, it's hard to, do something like that. They're still working on it, but the Xbox One will be getting it first. Supposedly after that, the PS4 will be getting it as well. So, not everybody's left out. It's kind of just one thing at a time, and that's going to be early next year. So maybe it's a good thing I'm waiting to get it.
Right.
Showed off Fable Legends again. They showed off a HoloLens demo of Minecraft, which looked pretty awesome. It still remains just to be seen, how much the HoloLens is going to cost and things like that. That's kind of a big factor and all that. But the demo looked awesome, and playing Minecraft in that way is definitely interesting. I would definitely see playing with your kid like that would probably be one of the coolest things ever. I think personally.
Now you're talking about playing, one person's on PC, another person's on the Xbox One, and
the other person.
I mean, they kind of showed that stuff. Okay.
So I would definitely see the kid wearing a HoloLens and getting just the time of his life or her life out of that. That would be awesome. So.
So go ahead and talk a little bit about the experience of watching this at the Microsoft store. Was there a lot of people there? And
gradually, yes, there was a lot of people. Some people would stop by and just didn't even know E3 was going on, which I can't blame them because it's just, if you're a big gamer, and if you're not, you don't. It's kind of like any of the other tech news. But it was all right. I think next time I might stay at home and watch it, just because I've kind of done that in the past. I just figured I'd try something new this year, being as they had some pretty big announcements, and I didn't know if they'd announce anything that I could just go ahead and slap some money down on right away. Another thing. Rare came on stage and announced Rareware, which is 30 games for $30. And if you like, Banjo-Kazooie or Perfect Dark or games like that in the Rare lineup, that is an awesome deal, and I will definitely be getting that. I think that comes out this summer. But they also announced an open world play, oh my goodness, Kitty! You just want to be on camera so bad, don't you?
Well, yeah, it's showtime. He knows he's got to get his episodic appearance.
Yes, but what is that? Sea of Thieves. Okay, let's not push that off. That would be bad. The Sea of Thieves,
pirate-themed MMO.
Yes,
it says. Now, I mean, Rare is very well known for GoldenEye. Everybody that is of age that had a chance to play GoldenEye on Nintendo 64, that was like the ultimate first-person shooter for consoles.
Which will not be joining the lineup, and that's probably due to licensing issues, if I were to guess.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's
Perfect Dark
Nintendo.
was a sequel to GoldenEye, and licensing fell through on that, so they just made it into its own game. So if you
Right.
want the better experience of GoldenEye, go play Perfect Dark because it is leaps and bounds better than GoldenEye. And that's hard to say, but it's the truth because there was so much added, and they even have some classic levels from GoldenEye. It's a fantastic game. If you love GoldenEye, once again, you will really love Perfect Dark. So I would definitely check that out in the little bundle pack that they announced.
Yeah, I
So
remember playing Perfect Dark on Nintendo 64, and while I enjoyed it, to me it didn't have as much going for it as GoldenEye did. Maybe that's just because I was more of a James Bond person, and I don't know. That's just kind
indeed.
of
Oh
my
my
thoughts.
goodness. Kitty
All right,
wants
so
to.
let's move on. Let's move on over to Sony and PlayStation. Now,
Yeah.
we kind of had a feeling that Sony was not going to have a big presence at E3. We knew they would have some presence. I mean, it would be kind of silly for the PS4 to not be there.
Yeah, so
But
theirs wasn't as long as the Xbox, if I am correct in saying that. But they did announce some cool stuff. The Last Guardians finally got announced from way back in 2009, and it's coming out apparently next year. I wanted to like this game so much, but I can't. It seems like not my kind of game. It seems boring to me, to be honest. I'm just dead honest. It seems boring. I wanted to like it, but I
so
can't.
I mean, what is it about it that you feel is
I
boring?
mean, it has elements of what I care about. Like, I love puzzle games, but like, it seems like that's all this is another, like, just full on puzzle game, no enemies of any kind. But
It's just the boy and his creature,
yeah, the
essentially.
boy and his like bird dog, which is
Yeah,
basically
bird
what it
dog.
looks like.
That's
Yeah,
it's a
it looks
great
like a
term
bird
for
dog. But
it.
I
It's
don't
got
know.
feathers and webbed
It looks
feet.
it looks gorgeous. I just couldn't get into it. They did
Okay.
announce a remake of Final Fantasy VII, which will not only be on PS4, but will also come to Xbox One and PC later, from what I remember reading. So it's not. It didn't really seem to show off exclusives like at all, except
Right.
for the Last Guardian, which comes out next year, and with the Uncharted 4, which also comes out next year. So it seems like
Right.
it's like hurry up and wait till next year for all your PS4 goodies for the most part. But the one game that they showed that up till yesterday was a PS4 exclusive, No Man's Sky. This game looks phenomenal. I mean, this looks like, in a way, what Destiny should have been.
Okay.
The scale of it is massive. Like, think of the biggest game you've ever played. Now multiply that by 100, and I'm not joking. Like, it is so big that you will not be able to explore everything. That they believe that not every system or star will be able to be explored. It's a what do they call it? It's like a generated. It like generates itself. My terms are all wonky today. Sorry,
All
but
whack. It's the weather,
yeah.
man.
But it generates itself and it makes its own game. So like they made the game, but then the game makes itself after that. Procedurally generated. That's what I'm looking for. So like the further you go out in the system, like the more it starts creating, its own stuff. And it's all like this random based, like I said, procedurally generated. So it looks fantastic. I mean, you fly your ship, warp speeds to other star systems. You actually go to the planet, and if you're the first one to discover it, it'll say, such and such discovered this planet on this day, and it's got creatures and wars and all, just everything just jam packed into this awesome, just exploratory space area. It looks awesome. It's
Okay.
it's not coming to Xbox One right away, from what I gathered. It seems like it's going to launch on PS4 and PC first, and then
Okay.
maybe in the future it might come to Xbox One. But as long as I can play it on my PC, whatever. I'm fine.
Right.
I'm cool with that.
Speaking of these starts on PlayStation and then comes to Xbox One, we've had a flip flop in which console is going to be the one for Call of Duty players.
Yes.
Typically, historically speaking, when it comes to the Xbox and Call of Duty, if you want to get the new DLC maps and content and stuff like that, if you were on Xbox, you were going to get it early, possibly like a couple months early. Now, Sony looks like they've got the exclusive to where any new DLC will come out on the PlayStation 4 first, and Xbox owners are going to have to kind of wait.
Number
I think
one,
they've got some people up in arms about.
I can't say I'm too surprised because Activision is all about that money, and they're notorious for, doing things like this. And I can't say this for sure, but I don't know that the PS4 crowd is the right crowd for that. I mean, that remains to be seen. I could eat my words, but it seems like the PS4 crowd is always very heavily influenced by RPG, and that's not a bad thing. I love RPGs, and they love sports. Like those two things are them, whereas Xbox is more of the shooters and racers. That's just kind of what I gather when I think of those two separate platforms, which is why it's okay to have both, fellas. Like this shouldn't be a big war. This should be everybody loves games.
Oh, that's blasphemy! You cannot fight fanboyism.
Oh, I actually saw a nice meme, and it was like when people discuss games, it was like this big round table, and everybody's sitting all proper and talking, respectfully. And then there's like when people talk about consoles, and everybody's like in this big brawling pit, like choking each other out. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah. It's kind of like that Lumia 1020 commercial about the wedding or whatever. The guy sitting in the back, and everybody else is fighting over it with their iPhones and stuff like that.
But out of everything PS4 announced, No Man's Sky definitely the coolest thing. I think they also had Destiny on the stage, which they are announcing the new DLC for the fall, which is 2 separate ones apparently, and it's called The Taken King. Basically, the last boss you just killed in the Dark Below, his like dad basically is coming to Earth and is going to wreak havoc. So now you have to stop him, and he looks even worse than the son was. So, oh boy.
Okay.
The last thing that I do remember that I definitely want to touch on is they did show Uncharted 4. Now, Uncharted 4 has kind of become PlayStation's own Tomb Raider, if you will. It's very
serious.
Yeah, it's very Tomb Raider-esque, and it's by Naughty Dogs. Naughty Dogs is definitely, it's kind of like their 343 Industries. It's just somebody when you hear PlayStation. It's like they make good games. So they demoed that, and I think they also have like a compilation series that they're releasing this year of 1, 2, and 3 for the PS4. So if you've never played them before, maybe pick that up. Once again, it's close to the new Tomb Raider, which actually got cues from Uncharted. So it's kind of a back and forth thing. Like they keep trying to one up each other, which is good. But yeah, that's really all PlayStation had from what I can.
So let's move on over to Nintendo. The original main game maker.
If you haven't noticed, I love sci-fi, and they announced more Star Fox, and
I was just going to say, let's talk about Star Fox first.
Star Fox Zero, and it looks amazing. I want to play this so bad.
Holiday 2015.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to go over to my buddy's house and steal his console for a little while. But
this could be the good time to say, hey, it's time that I buy a Wii U.
Yeah, maybe, but they didn't. They announced a Metroid game, right? I was excited until I watched and saw what it was. And now I'm actually not so excited. I'm a little almost upset.
You went from happy panda to sad panda.
Yeah, it feels like they took a Metroid game, took Samus out of the game, and just slapped it into the universe in a 4-player co-op on 3DS. It just seems like so harebrained off the wall, and I don't know why anybody would buy this, and it makes me so upset. This could actually be the Metroid game that gets rated the lowest ever. And that doesn't include Metroid Other M, which was released in 2010, which was also the lowest rated Metroid game ever. Like, Nintendo's going downhill with Metroid, and it's not very pleasing to me because they have
Right.
such a great IP, and I feel like they don't know what to do with it. Where they could, in my opinion, they could take it and make an almost a Dead Space like esque game out of it, and it would be fantastic. But what do I know? I'm just a gamer.
Now, did you see the video or anything on the Mario Super Tennis?
Oh no,
The
I
Super
must have
Mario
missed
Tennis World.
that.
Now, I mean, Mario Tennis back on, I can't remember. No, it was, I think that was Nintendo 64, or it might have been GameCube. I mean, that was a good game. Did you ever play Mario Super Strikers, the soccer game on the Nintendo Wii?
No, I'm not much of even with Mario being in it, I'm not big into
Yeah.
sports games, to be honest.
Okay. Because,
Although I would love a Mario baseball game if that doesn't
I mean,
exist already.
oh, it does. There's one on,
Oh,
I know there's
yes.
one on GameCube, and I want to say they put one out on the Wii U, or not the Wii U, but the Wii. It's, I mean, I know we've had the one for the GameCube, and it was really, really good. But the Super Strikers on the Nintendo Wii is fabulous.
Huh.
It's really a fun, addicting game. It is, you know, one of their first online games. It was really, it's really a great experience. So looking forward to that. We can kind of talk a little bit more about. Let's talk about some of the amiibos real quick. Did you get to see any of the pictures of the new ones that they're going to release? Like,
So, what I don't even remember what they were. But as far as I know, those will be releasing like late this year, right?
I believe so.
So
But some of
I may or may
the
not
two
have.
that caught my eye
Yeah,
were the,
8-bit
I
Mario.
mean, Super Mario. It was Mario like 8-bit,
Yeah,
the
that
8-bit
one's
Mario,
cool.
all blocky, and the one for Rob the Robot looks
Oh, nice.
so detailed and so real. I'm like, oh my god, that might be one. Those two would probably be two that I would actually buy just to
Uh,
put on a shelf or a desk or
yep,
something like that.
I'm
They
waiting for
look
Mewtwo.
fabulous.
Mewtwo's coming out sometime right around the holiday season, and it's going to be insanity trying to get him. But I'm definitely going to go get him.
Yeah, you might have to hit Amazon up for that.
Yeah, might have to pay an extra buck or two, but that's okay. That's like the one that I have to have.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell, I kind of like Mewtwo a little bit. I got a little D-Arts figurine that's still in the box because I don't want Kitty chewing on him yet until we get some kind of cabinet for these. But
Yeah,
anywho,
that's
so
that is pretty nice.
in line with the amiibos, Super Mario Maker looks awesome.
Hmm.
It's kind of like make your own level Mario, but you can like take things from the different times of Mario, like the original one, Super Mario 3, or no, yeah, Super Mario 3, or yeah, something like
Yeah, you
that.
got Super Mario Brothers, and then they
Super Mario
skipped to,
World,
yeah.
and
Super Mario
then
World was on Nintendo, or Nintendo Super Nintendo.
like more of a 3D Mario, like from like recent, and
Yeah, from the Wii or the Wii U.
yeah, and it just looks like so much fun. Like there's, levels that they're gonna make it looks like. There's levels that people can make and submit, and you can play their levels. I'm super excited for this. Like that almost alone would be enough for me to buy. Between this and Star Fox, it's like maybe I should get a Wii U now.
Right.
Oh, well, and Super Smash Brothers, obviously. That's a given. That's just a fantastic game. Um, but yeah, so I would say those are kind of the biggest ones that really stood out to me. Did I miss anything that you wanted to touch on? Maybe.
No, I mean, no, that was pretty much it. There's
Oh, new
also one other
Zelda.
thing. Yeah, new Zelda, not really a true like Zelda game, but it's
Yeah,
for the
it's
Nintendo 3DS.
right. It's not
Legend
the
of
one
Zelda
you're thinking.
Triforce Heroes.
It's not the one you're thinking of. It's not the one that was supposed to be for Wii U. That's still in development. They're holding on to that one. They might even hold on to that one for the next console. Who knows?
Right.
But yeah, so they did release a new Zelda. It looks more, more along the lines of like a like some of the Game Boys in the past have done Zeldas. So if you liked those, you will probably like this one.
Right. And one last thing to kind of touch on with Nintendo is the next version of Mario and Luigi RPG called Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. So it's going to
Right.
combine like the Mario and Luigi RPGs with Paper Mario style, and which Paper Mario is a fabulous series. I remember my son, I mean, he will actually still play that on our Wii because we, downloaded it from their Nintendo store, whatever it is that they call that. And it's really a great RPG. Really, really fun from the time that I've actually spent with it.
Yes, Raul actually mentioned something that I forgot to touch on with Xbox. They are revamping the dashboard, which I'm still getting used to. It looks really strange. Very Windows 10-esque, or almost Media Center-esque, if you will. But they're including Cortana. Awesome. Needs to happen.
Finally.
Yes,
Here it
finally.
comes.
And it will sync, I guess, with all your other Cortanas. So that'll be interesting.
It should. I mean, Xbox, or not Xbox, Windows 10 is one Windows.
Yeah, so it's running across Windows 10, so that'll be cool. And there was one other thing that just completely evaporated out of my brain, so I'll mention that later if I remember.
All right.
But
so go ahead and I guess that is it for E3. I mean, there's so much stuff. It's tough to try to keep everything.
Oh, real quick, what were your favorite games?
What were my favorite games?
Yes.
And for me, it was obviously Star Wars Battlefront. That is definitely seeing that makes me just want to go out and get a new Xbox One or PlayStation 4. This is where the dilemma for me comes into play. I'm a big baseball fan. Xbox One has nothing
it does not.
Baseball. So knowing I can get the Star Wars game on PlayStation 4 and also MLB The Show on PlayStation, it's like, which one do I go with? So
yeah,
I've still got a few months to decide.
That's a tough one. I do wish that we had at least a comparable baseball one, because right now, so this is funny. PlayStation used to have an awesome series, still kind of does, called Gran Turismo. But Forza has just destroyed it. Like, if you want a good, awesome racing game, you need to play Forza. It's just hands down the best experience. But if you want an awesome baseball experience anymore, you need a PS4, because the show is hands down the best. Because there really is no baseball game for Xbox One. So I don't know if that'll change, but
I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with having all three consoles.
Right.
Nothing wrong.
But if you can only afford one at the time,
I know. That's where you've got to figure out what games are most important to you.
Yes. So I have a little bit of a grocery list, so bear with me for just a second. So the ones that really caught my eye are Gears of War 4 and Gears of War Ultimate Edition, Fallout 4, Star Wars Battlefront, No Man's Sky, Star Fox Zero, Super Mario Maker, Recore, Halo 5, Forza 6, Tomb Raider, Sea of Thieves, Destiny, The Taken Kings, and Ion. Okay. Those are the ones that caught my eye. So,
yeah, I mean, for me, it was, like I mentioned, Star Wars, Fallout 4. Still, looking at that and, playing Fallout Shelter. It's like, I'm kind of starting to get into the whole Fallout stuff a little bit more.
Oh, yes.
Super Mario Maker and, of course, Mario and Luigi Paper Jam.
Well, luckily, most of the games that you have listed are on both consoles. So that's kind of
Mario games.
Well, right. But that everybody knows that's Nintendo. I'm talking more like your Star Wars and your Fallouts.
Right.
Like, you can pretty much get those on either system and be fine playing on either system. So.
Okay, so moving in, go ahead and talk a little bit about Microsoft and encrypting Bing searches.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. But Microsoft has announced plans to encrypt Bing search by default, which is amazing. And so basically, when you go to the site now, it should say HTTPS instead of just the regular HTTP. So it'll be encrypted, and happy, fun, safe times for us Bing users, because we'll have I guess a little safer of a site. So what do you think this definitely disrupts people who might aggregate search results and things like that from Bing to help them with their analytics. But I feel like maybe Microsoft might have a tool for that. I don't know yet. What do you think of the encryption for Bing?
Honestly, for me,
I know
just
you probably
a regular user.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't think I'm going to see much of a difference.
Yeah,
it's not that I don't care. I think it's really good, and I kind of think that more websites need to do that. But
let me rephrase.
It just doesn't grab my attention that much.
Yeah, let me rephrase. It's not that you don't care. It's that. So somebody
what is it going to benefit me? How is it going to really improve my experience with Bing?
I know somebody like maybe JJ might be interested in this.
Oh, I'm sure JJ's all over it.
But
as Daryl puts in the chat, so now you can Bing, how do I make a bomb?
That actually briefly crossed my mind. I was like, I wonder about all those terrible searches you're not supposed to search.
Yeah, so now I can search for all the other stuff. Because you always hear about these court cases, where somebody kills somebody, or somebody dies and it's a murder, and they always go back to the spouse's computer and look at their web searches for the prior however many months, and they're like, well, you just happen to be searching for how the way that this person actually ended up dying. So interesting.
But yeah, I just thought I'd throw that little tidbit in there for those of you who are Windows people, because there seems to be a lot of Microsoft news lately.
Yeah, there is. And we'll actually have a little bit more here in a bit, but we're going to move on to Comcast is reportedly interested in acquiring T-Mobile. Interesting. So I'm probably not pronouncing this right, but I'm going to go ahead and try it anyway. Deutsche Telekom is now said to be in talks with Comcast about a potential sale of the T-Mobile US brand. Recently, the Comcast deal fell through with Time Warner, and it was reported that Dish was interested in T-Mobile as well. So according to Reuters, Comcast is considered to be the more attractive buyer for T-Mobile by the parent company. With Comcast's current financial situation, the company would be able to purchase all of the T-Mobile US shares, and T-Mobile has been the center of a few acquisitions to date, all of which has fallen through. Pretty much all started with AT&T trying to quote-unquote merge or buy T-Mobile, and that fell through. Sprint and T-Mobile looked to trying to join forces. That fell through. So I don't know. We'll see on that, whether this is just a rumor that has no legitimacy, or if it is actually something legit that may actually happen in the future. We will see.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they should just stop trying to buy things. This may end up terribly for them, just like it did with AT&T. They might try to buy them, and then they'll have this contractual deal is, well, if it falls through, you owe us $5 million or something crazy like that again, or $5 billion or whatever it was.
Right.
So I don't know if this is a good thing. Yeah, I feel like Comcast should stay the heck away from things. I've heard horror stories already, so I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see if that will be allowed. God. The chat is just cracking me up right now.
Oh yeah, they're searches. Interesting. So moving back into some, or let's go ahead and talk about some Windows Phone news.
Yeah, I kind of combined this into one because I felt like I just put a lot of Windows stuff, and for those of you who aren't completely interested in Windows, I'm sorry. It's just a lot of stuff grabbed my attention today, so just bear with me. There are alleged leaks of a fuzzy picture of the quote-unquote new Windows Phone coming out. I'll get to that in a second. But also, AT&T will be selling the Lumia 640 XL June 26th for $250 off contract. It's a little more expensive than I was hoping for. But that being said, it is off contract, so you can buy it and then just be done, and you can use it however you please, I suppose. But that's June 26th, so not too far away. But back to the blurry image taken by an anonymous user of some kind. I mean, it looks definitely like a what a
Yeah, it looks like the 1020 camera.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a 1020 camera in a way. In another way, it looks like something newer because it looks like it has 2 LED flashes with maybe like a laser assisted focus, which would be amazing. And then it, has the big black disc that you're normally used to that's sitting in the middle, and then there's the lens below that. I mean, that's really all you can see. And, Windows Central, they like to rate the rumors from like 1 being definitely not happening to 10 being definitely happening.
Right.
They rated it
right in the middle.
Yeah, it could go either way, and I agree with that. I think that this could just be an awesome Photoshop, but the other part of me, which is really optimistic, thinks that this is definitely coming, and we will definitely see this in the future. And I am super excited for when that gets announced, whenever that is. I'm still saying September is when they will at least announce something Windows Phone, and it'll come out in October. So.
Yeah, I could see them announcing it, and hopefully we'll see when it does get actually released.
Yeah.
Speaking of Windows 10 Mobile, I'm currently installing the latest build, which is like 10.136, I think is the numbers. I'm installing that on my 1520 as we speak right now. It's up to 56% of preparing to install. So with this new build, you have with the new build, you had to revert back to Windows 8.1 and then using the Nokia recovery tool, and then you would upgrade from there. So once that's done with that, all the updates and stuff like that, I'll do another factory refresh because that's just how I do my devices. And hopefully it'll actually be usable this time.
Now, are you going to do a factory refresh when Windows 10 comes out for the PC on your Surface and other things like that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if I didn't know if you did that kind of thing, so I was just curious.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty particular about that kind of stuff. I know it takes up more time, and more likely it probably isn't a huge thing, but I want to start fresh. I don't care.
You have the option to do so, so why not?
That's right. It's my prerogative, as they like to say. And our friend over at AT&T, Katie Nagus, has sent out the information about the Lumia 640 XL, which will be available exclusively in AT&T stores and online starting Friday, June the 26th. It'll be available in matte black and matte white.
Ooh, white. Excellent.
Let's see the pricing info. Let's see. Pricing for that. Where is the pricing?
It's $250.
There it is, yeah. So $250. That's off contract.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Especially if you like the bigger
issue.
devices.
Yeah, the only issue is that 8 gig of internal storage. But
yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say to that anymore.
Yeah.
Just go get a memory card.
Yeah. With memory being so cheap, you're like, why would you just skimp on that?
At least put 32. Every device should have 32 anymore.
Yeah,
anything
minimum
below
16.
That's
32. Yeah.
Yeah, skip 16. 16's that's so 2010. So I
pretty much.
I realized what I forgot in the Xbox thing, but it's actually part of my picks. So if we want to go into app and entertainment picks at any point,
move right on.
Yeah, so the other bombshell that they dropped at the end of the show was they're like, here's the Gears of War Ultimate Beta, and Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Guess what? The beta comes out today. That, my mind was just blown. Like, was not expecting a beta at all for this. Super excited that they put one out because I've been playing it like crazy the past couple nights. It's just so nice to play a Gears of War game on the Xbox One. Anyone can sign up for it if you have an Xbox One. If you just even want to check it out, download it. You need 2 codes, though, to access the beta. One to download the game and one for a key to be able to play the game. So I'm sure they did that for specific reasons, but so that's happening right now. They also announced the Xbox Game Preview, which is really cool because it's kind of like Steam Greenlight, and you can actually like buy a game before it's released. You can play a game for up to 60 minutes before it's released. And so actually the first 2, Elite Dangerous and The Long Dark, I decided to go ahead and just download them and, play them for an hour and see what I thought about them. So I did that the past couple nights also while playing Gears of War. Elite Dangerous is really cool. It's in a way like No Man's Sky, but it's a lot more skill involved. I realized how terrible of a pilot I am. Like, I cannot land a ship, I cannot fly a ship to save my life, and there needs to, in my opinion, be a little more of a tutorial on how to do certain things, because when they're like, oh, go to the website and watch the tutorial, and you watch the tutorial and they're like, oh, whatever button you have bind to this, you use that. And it's like, well, what if I don't know what the buttons are bind to because I'm playing it on an Xbox? This is a problem. So I couldn't figure out how to do a few things. Maybe I'm just, I don't know, not good at that kind of thing. But yeah, fun. If you like simulators, this is definitely a game to look at. So I would check out Elite Dangerous. It's free to check out for an hour. I also checked out The Long Dark, which kind of reminds me of Slenderman meets... do you remember the book? What is it? The Hatchet, maybe? Where a boy flies in a plane with like his uncle, and they're in Canada. It's always in Canada. They're in Canada, and you're flying,
That's where all
and
the snow is.
he has a heart attack, and they crash, and then he has to survive, like in the wilderness of Canada. And it's a good story. I read it like in school at some point, but it kind of reminds me of that with Slenderman, like slapped into one. The visuals are not like super realistic, but they don't have to be, because it still sucks you in. Like, as soon as you start the game, you start the game as, you crashed your plane and you need to find shelter and food and water and warmth, and there's certain choices you have to make. You make the wrong choice, you could die. It's a very big survival game. If you love survival games, I would definitely check this out. It's very spooky at times too. I actually spent the night in a watchtower. I went to bed because I was really tired. I spent the night in the watchtower. As soon as I woke up, it was pitch black. I couldn't see. And I didn't have anything to light the way except like one flare. I'm like, well, how long does this flare last? That's the problem. So I decided using the flare, and it lasted for quite a while. But I mean, in the time that I wasn't using the flare and I was trying to like look around, because like the only thing that's lit up is the sky. Everything else just seems pitch black. And it's like, oh my God, this is terrifying, because all I could think about is like wolves hunting me down and killing me. Luckily, I was in the watchtower, all safe and cozy, without food or water.
Right.
But yeah, I eventually wandered into the wilderness trying to find something, and I died because I couldn't find stuff. So it's a brutal game, but it's interesting. It's definitely worth a check out as well. So those are my picks.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and throw in a book suggestion from Daryl Pritchard, who's actually watching live right now as well. And it's Masters of Doom. As you know, as with a lot of talk about Doom from Bethesda and stuff, showing off the videos and stuff from Sunday, there's a book out called Masters of Doom, and John Carmack and John Romero, kind of the brainchilds of behind the game. This just kind of gives a little bit more in-depth information about it. I haven't read it, but I'm always a fan of this kind of behind-the-scenes stuff. I'd love to watch if it was like a visual video documentary, that would be awesome. I'd definitely like to see that.
Yeah, and he actually mentions that it is paper and Kindle and audiobook as well. So,
Ooh, nice.
yeah, so you can get a paperback if you like, regular books. You can get it on the Kindle if you like digital, and you can